Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing you guys the match review of England's 2-1 win over Tunisia. You guys, you know what to do. Smash that like button and press the bell notification button as well if you haven't, to stay tuned to all things Blue Lions TV. But just getting straight into the match review, obviously starting with the lineup. It wasn't too much of a surprise. Maybe a few people might have thought that Kane would have started or Ruben would have started. Ideally, I think Ruben should have started, but I'm going to talk about that later on in this match review. But yeah, England 3-5-2 set up. Obviously, Sterling playing closer to Harry Kane. Obviously, Ali, Lingard and Henderson in midfield with Trippier and Young on the left. And the defence was Maguire, Stones and Walker as well. So, again, it wasn't a surprise, the lineup. But I have to say it was, I like the system that England used. I do have to admit that. I do think that it does make things much more fluid. I think that a lot of the players already play in similar systems, so it makes it easier for them to transition their club form to their national side form. And I think that's always been the problem that England teams have always faced. Managers coming in, they're always getting English players to use a completely different system, alien to what they're actually using for their current clubs. And I think for international teams to have great success, the more players play for a certain team or play a certain style, the easier it is for the national team, because again, no one needs to learn how to play in a different system. And I think 3-5-2 is much more fluid, as we saw the first 10 minutes, or just the first half in general. It was relentless at times. England were definitely causing Tunisia a lot of problems, especially overload. Essentially, I mean, the intelligent movement by Sterling, yes, maybe some of his decision making on the ball wasn't great throughout the game, but in terms of his off the ball movement, his intelligence, his link up play and the space, and this is the important thing, the space that he was creating for guys like Lingard to operate in and for Ali to operate in as well, was crucial, and that was causing Tunisia a lot of problems. Of course, we had that space open, you know, the space between Tunisia's defense and their midfield, and they were never able to really mark anyone, honestly, with the intelligent movement, the late runs, which are very hard to defend against, because again, to really stop late runs, it requires the midfield to come and track back those runners. Defenders can't really do that. If they do that, they're just going to be making space open at the back, which is going to be exploited by opposition, and England were profiting from that time and time again. Created a few good chances. Sterling, again, as I said, his off the ball work was great, his work rate was great as well. Some of his decisions on the ball were disappointing. Missing that goal, I like Sterling, but it is a bit typical of Raheem Sterling to miss that type of chance and not really have that full confidence in front of goal at times. Honestly, he should have taken that. And basically, this game, we know what the result was: 2-1 to England. We scored a late winner right at the end. It could have been very different. Very, very different, because players such as Sterling and especially Lingard really weren't doing anything in terms of taking responsibility. I think with Lingard too, had so many fantastic chances, didn't take a single one of them. And it gets me thinking, well, this is actually the current difference between England and the other top international sides. That's because if those international sides were in those same positions that England players were in, 9 times out of 10, that's going in the back of the net. If you're getting 3 opportunities on goal to, and not one of them goes in the back of the net, then you're obviously doing a bit of a disservice to the team and yourself, of course. And obviously, at this high level, with how much pressure there is involved in this international tournament, it really isn't the way to go. And I think that Lingard put a lot of unnecessary pressure on the team in particular for not taking those early chances as well. And it was quite frustrating at times, but you know, there were a lot of positives in that first half, of course, with England. I liked their control in the game. The back three, I thought the back three looked very fluid. I thought that everyone was communicating effectively a lot. I thought the positioning was very good. There were times when the centre backs were interchanging positions with each other, which I thought was very interesting. You know, times where Walker's in the middle and Stones is pushing out wide, and I liked how fluid it was. You know, every one of those England defenders were allowed to push up when they needed to. It wasn't set to one designated player who was allowed to break the lines and push into midfield. Sometimes we'd see Harry Maguire bombing forward down the left. We'd see John Stones pushing forward up in the middle. We'd see Kyle Walker supporting the play out wide and pushing forward. And, you know, you can see now why Southgate has gone for Cahill, and this is what I like about Southgate. You know, he thinks of the team first over individuals. Now, you know, safer managers would easily be picking Cahill to be playing in this team with his experience, the club he plays for, etc, etc. And a lot of them would forgive Cahill's lack of technical abilities just because of things like experience and, you know, that safety net of him playing for a bigger team, which isn't the right thing at all. Obviously, with this England international team, all three of these defenders are comfortable playing out from the back. They are comfortable breaking the lines and pushing into midfield as well, and becoming another midfield option when they need to be. And I thought they were, you know, playing out from the back very quickly. I mean, comparing England's performance to Belgium's, both using a back three system, there was a lot more fluidity in the England team compared to Belgium. Belgium was struggling at times. They weren't able to create any numerical advantages. I thought their back three was very slow at manipulating the ball, really slow and pedestrian, and it was making it easy for Panama to keep their shape. But England weren't doing that. Everyone was switching the balls quickly. The intelligent movement from the front three, you see Sterling dropping deeper or making runs out wide to create space for someone else. And this is what I mean by England looking like a team, and each player understanding their roles, what they had to do, where they need to run, when they need to come back. And honestly, this was a game that shouldn't have been 2-1. It could easily have been 3-4-0. I'm not exaggerating personally when I feel that this was one of the best international performances that I've seen of the tournament so far. I think Spain were by far the best team out of a purely aesthetic point of view and in terms of performance. But I think England are up there for sure. I think that it was a great performance. And again, you know, some standout players, of course, Harry Kane. I think he cements the fact that he is a world-class striker. You know, to score that goal right at the end, it's just about concentrating, you know, and that conviction of knowing that he was going to finish that chance. Because one advantage England actually had over Tunisia throughout the entire game was physical prowess from set pieces. You know, the amount of crosses, we're always aiming for the far post every single time. Tunisia weren't able to cope with this. No surprise that we did win this game down, you know, due to 2 set piece goals. But again, Maguire especially at the far post, knocking balls back or flicking balls on constantly. Again, it was a great avenue to explore. And Harry Kane, world-class striker, he understands when to attack the positions. He has that striker's instinct of knowing where to be. Very intelligent with his movement as well, with his finishing too. 2 shots and 2 goals. I mean, this is someone that's top class. And of course, I'm a Chelsea fan, but you guys know I'm objective when it comes to football. I have to always be fair, and for sure, Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. But again, of course, it was 1-1 for a while. During the second half in particular, things had become a bit pedestrian. Now, I think the main reason as to why the pace slowed down a lot was due to the fact that the players were getting tired. You have to realise the amount of movement from the front three and from the midfield. You have to sprint a lot. It's constant sprinting, lots of interval sprints. It does get tiring. And because these players got tired, it meant that they couldn't press effectively as a unit when it came to closing Tunisia down in their own half. And this is how Tunisia were able to have their best spells throughout this game. They were able to play out from the back because the England players were pretty tired from, you know, closing and pressing them down. You know, the humidity in the stadium was very high. Mosquitoes were everywhere. I mean, it was a very, you know, intense kind of atmosphere. And it was probably hard to plan for both players, you know, for the Tunisians and for the English guys. But with how England play, the high pressing, which we haven't really seen too much during the World Cup. Not many teams have been pressing aggressively in the opponent's half so far. England definitely paid the price at times, even though they were still creating chances and still keeping the ball at times. Of course, Gareth Southgate finally bringing on Rashford and, most importantly, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was key. Now, at the time when Rashford came on for Sterling, I was a bit surprised because I thought maybe he would have taken off a Lingard or someone to bring on. But it told me that Southgate obviously liked how England were playing. It was nothing to do with the system. They just needed more intensity from certain players. Some players were tired. It came down to just replacing tired players for more refreshed ones. I think the best one was Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming on because, I mean, this guy is a phenomenal footballer. His first touch, his vision, his reading of the game, his positional awareness as well. He knows how to attack the space. He knows how to link up the play. And, you know, with Ruben, he's got one of those particular skill sets, which I think only the elite players have, where when he's playing, he improves the other players around him. He improves the quality of the football. He improves the tempo of games. With his movement, with his passing, he just understands what to do. And I really think that he does need to play and start the next game for England, because he really does complement that midfield a lot. I think with Lingard, honestly, Lingard is there ready to attack the space. But when it comes to his link-up play and obviously what he does off the ball, you know, Ruben is just much better compared to what Lingard does when it comes to that. And I don't know, I think Ruben is definitely underrated in attacking capacity. So the guy can score goals. We've seen that he can make those late runs into the box as well. He does have that in his locker. So I don't think England will be missing out on anything from an attacking point of view. I mean, he's just crucial to how the team play. I really hope that Southgate is going to start him and use him. I don't want Southgate to make mistakes that other England managers have made, where, you know, they go against their laurels and they go for the safe and easy pragmatic options. As we saw, I'd honestly feel that if Ruben wasn't introduced in the game, I don't know if England could have won it right at the end, because again, in particular, look at the speed in which the play was on the right hand side when Ruben was playing. I mean, what was happening on the right hand side beforehand? Nothing. A lot of times all the play was going down the left hand side. With Ruben coming on, it obviously switched up you know, our build-up play, which obviously did get at Tunisia, which was a weakness on that right-hand side. And Ruben was incredible at helping England dominate down that side and create those overloads and open up Tunisia. And honestly, you guys, 2-1 in the end. It should have been more, as I said. 3 or 4, easy could have happened. It was a good performance, a promising one. We've seen England start tournaments with, you know, awful, bad performances. This was the complete opposite. It was one of the best footballing performances of the tournament so far. Panama up next and then Belgium later. I mean, England have a possibility of topping this group, and it's just good to finally see an England team playing as a team. But anyway, you guys, that's going to end today's match review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.